With hours to go, I hope you have your private keys already because we have two major events in the next 24 hours. On one hand, BIP91 will meet BIP148 and SegWit will stay on course for activation on the Bitcoin blockchain. But on the other hand, in just a few hours after that, Bitcoin Cash is going to launch. And since it's considered to be just another altcoin by most major players, many users are lining up to sell or exchange their BCC or BCH for the real Bitcoin, BTC. But depending on how much mining power moves over to Bitcoin Cash over the next few weeks, the competition between those two sides may still rage strong. So is the Bitcoin scaling civil war really over? Are the politics of centralization truly behind us? Or is it smarter to hold both coins long term? Let's discuss. Hey everybody, I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you, and together, welcome to Minting Coins. I feel as if we're undergoing a little bit of technical difficulty, but we are raging through just as everyone else is, sticking with this whole Bitcoin and blockchain technology, politics and drama that we've been experiencing over the past few years. It seems like it's been a lot longer than a few years, but here we are talking about SegWit well on the road to activation, and we've had a lot of hiccups along the way, a lot of people, a lot of centralized points of power who have been really against SegWit, who have been really against the scaling of with the SegWit solution, because a lot of these other players, these big miners, Roger Ver out there, they really want to increase the block size. And even with the BIP91 getting activated and it being in line with the New York agreement, the SegWit 2x, the SegWit plus big block increase, this Bitcoin Cash still came out. Bitcoin Cash is still about to launch in just a few hours here. And we're still going to get this big block version of Bitcoin. But what everyone is really focusing on is that this big block version of Bitcoin is not going to be the actual Bitcoin. This is not going to be the Bitcoin that is on the roadmap. This is likely not going to be the Bitcoin that has the greatest amount of mining and hash power. Still remains to be seen. There's a lot to go over, a lot to review. Let's take a peek at that market and then look over into some news and let's discuss. So starting over at coinmarketcap.com and taking a look at what we have going on. So the total market capitalization of the cryptocurrency space is over $92 billion. Seems as if there's been a relatively low amount of trading volume in the past 24 hours, only $2.2 billion. And the Bitcoin dominance really increasing past the 50% mark, almost 51% dominance in the Bitcoin blockchain specifically. What I've seen, what I've noticed, I think what everyone has seen and what everyone has noticed is really withdrawing of a lot of the alt currencies out there, let it be Ethereum or Litecoin or really any of these cryptocurrencies out there, people selling their different altcoins, really looking to get as much Bitcoin as they can get their hands on, increasing this price back close, almost touching $2,900 again. $2,900, our old friend, here to come and see us again. And so because of that, I think this volume is really low because everyone is just, they want to get the Bitcoin. They know the fork is coming. And while a lot of people have sold that Bitcoin off, a lot of other people have been buying that Bitcoin because of two reasons. A, with this hard fork, a lot of people are looking to get this free money from this new Bitcoin Cash altcoin, and then on the other hand, they're thinking, that's going to be twice as many coins. So really interesting what's going on there. And so at coinmarketcap.com, if you search in the cryptocurrencies, you can search for Bitcoin Cash, and you can see the futures. So people buying and selling Bitcoin Cash, the future Bitcoin Cash token, and we see currently over the past 24 hours it's down almost 13%. It's currently trading at $292 per Bitcoin Cash coin, so it's not very strong. I think what the market is expecting is for Bitcoin Cash to come into existence, and then everyone's going to sell it. Everyone is really going to want to support the main Bitcoin, the real Bitcoin, the SegWit version of Bitcoin. Everyone wants to get more of the real Bitcoin. And I say everyone, I really mean the vast majority of the pulse. From what I'm hearing and from what I'm seeing is that most people are looking just to get their hands on this new Bitcoin Cash and just get rid of it as soon as possible. I'm not really sure who's going to be out there buying it when there's going to be so much dumping going on, but this will be a market, and if Bitcoin Cash survives, at some point there will have to be a bottom, and then at some point the coin may go up in value, assuming that the mining power stays, and then assuming that they have enough economy of scale in terms of the mining and the hashing of this Bitcoin Cash. There's a lot that goes into it, and so for us as consumers, we really need to wait out the next 2 weeks and see what happens from the launch of the coin, and then how much mining power is going to be transitioned between Bitcoin BTC and this other Bitcoin Cash future. So we're going to be monitoring this. We're going to take a look and see how we can look at some of this information. And so let's turn over to some of the news, and let's look in a little bit deeper what's going on with Bitcoin Cash and what's going on with this hard fork situation. So first of all, over at Reddit, this is the general sentiment, is that it's a hold and hold type of situation. And so, this guy over here, this young Hodor, he has his Trezor over here in this hand, and he has his Bitcoin Cash wallet, not his Bitcoin Cash wallet, but his transactional Bitcoin wallet over here. And so it's just buy and hold. There's going to be a lot of volatility happening. There's going to be a lot of market swings with people buying and selling, lots of people buying and selling. And with all of this volatility, you don't want to make a mistake and lose your actual Bitcoin. You don't want to do something if you're unsure of what it is that you're doing. So if you're unsure of what you're doing, you're probably best off just buying and holding that Bitcoin. And if you do know what you're doing, then you still want to make extra sure, take extra precautions that you're only sending the Bitcoin Cash if you want to get rid of the Bitcoin Cash, and just make sure you're not taking some sort of action that's going to lead to an unintended consequence. Yeah, and then moving over on Bitcoin, people are just super excited about this new $2,900 price. They're on the roller coaster. They feel like this is going up. They know it's going up. And the general sentiment around, as I'm saying, is buy and hold. People have been asking me, what should I do? And I let people know you really need to make your own decision. But as far as what I'm thinking about, I'm thinking that lots of people are going to be interested in Bitcoin and are going to want to be part of this, the having both coins in the fork. And once the scaling debate is over with Bitcoin, Bitcoin has a huge potential to go way past the $3,000 mark, simply because this is a point in time when Bitcoin is about to cross this path, and once it crosses this path into SegWit activation, it's going to be all of us walking through this new world where new development and new code is going to be created for Bitcoin, really opening up, blowing up, and expanding the application and utility that Bitcoin is providing. And the reason that that's going to be happening now is because SegWit is going to be not just signaling but launched, and new code will then be able to build on top of that. And so it's really, really exciting. People are seeing the price go up over the past few weeks leading up into this. And again, we really need to pay attention to the news that's happening while not easily being parted from our cryptocurrency. And so turning over to the first article, and this isn't a new article today, but this has been updated with new information, and this is coming from a source that I trust, which is the maker of Trezor and Satoshi Labs. And so this article is talking about what is happening with BCash, which is what they're calling Bitcoin Cash. And this article is mainly focused around not just that, but also Trezor users. And so if you haven't gotten your Trezor, I highly recommend you get a Trezor or a Ledger Nano S to hold your private keys, because it's just a much safer option than, maybe using a different type of even a Jax wallet, for example, which is a great wallet, but I think we all agree that the Trezor and the Ledger is much more secure. So this was updated to say July 31st that Trezor is going to be labeling Bitcoin Cash as BCash and as BCH. We talked about this in a previous video. There's already a currency out there called BCC. And so Jax and Trezor and a lot of companies and organizations, people in the space, are going to be referring to Bitcoin Cash as BCH instead of BCC. So just be aware of that as you're seeing that different people, different organizations might refer to it differently. So it's going to be seen as BCC, BCH, Bitcoin Cash, BCash. These are all terms to be aware of. So at a high level, what's going on? So on August 1st, a group of users and some businesses are planning to implement a non-compatible upgrade to the network for Bitcoin. And so what they're going to be doing is that they're going to be raising the block size to a limit of 8 megabytes, and they're going to be removing SegWit. And this is what Bitcoin Cash is. It's an upgrade that is it's non-compatible with the current network. It's going to raise the block size to 8 megabytes, and it's going to remove SegWit. So as a result, we're going to be left with Bitcoin that's going to be the SegWit activated version of Bitcoin that has come about through BIP 148 and BIP 91 working together. And then we're going to have this clone dubbed Bitcoin Cash or BCash. And so as we all know, or as you may be aware of, if you have access to your private keys, even if it's on a paper wallet or wherever that wallet is, if you have those private keys, at some point you'll be able to use those private keys to split or claim your Bitcoin Cash and then separate that on your private keys, the Bitcoin Cash, from the Bitcoin. If you have a Trezor, if your Bitcoin is on a Trezor, it'll be extra easy, but this would have to happen before the fork, which is coming up in just a few hours later today. So, and so the reason this is because Bitcoin Cash did implement the necessary protections to protect against replay attacks. And so because of that, companies like Trezor and Jax are going to be allow you to spend your separate coins securely using these wallets. Now Jax wallet is going to take a little bit of time for them to upgrade the wallet and allow you to spend and send and receive your Bitcoin Cash tokens. And so that will happen at some point in the future. We're just not exactly sure when. It seems as if that the Trezor split is going to happen much more immediately. Seems as if right when the fork happens, it should be ready with Trezor. I guess we'll see for certain when that happens. And so, so what are the options? So we get these coins. You have Bitcoin. The fork comes you have these this new split with Bitcoin. You have all these Bitcoin Cash coins. Your options are to hold them, or you can sell them on the exchanges. And those are choices that we need to make. Those are choices that you need to make for yourself, and that you need to think for yourself. Let's see here. And so what will you do with those extra Bitcoins? We need to, thinking about this, I guess in my heart and in the philosophy of blockchain technology and Bitcoin and decentralization, what I'm thinking is that, get rid of all these altcoins that we don't really need, that don't really have utility or application. The Bitcoin Cash is just an altcoin. It's not what I think is going to be the coin that's going to be truly successful. I think the real Bitcoin is going to be what's truly successful. I think that's what has the network adoption. I think that's what has the network effect. I think what has the recognition across the world. I think it's what has the development and the ability to have the utility for everyone, everywhere. But with that being said, there are huge forces, strong forces that really want that centralization of Bitcoin. And while I don't think they're going to be able to destroy Bitcoin or make Bitcoin go away, I think that it's still a huge possibility that they could put a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of energy, a lot of resources into really helping the advancement of their version of what they want Bitcoin to be. And for them to win, they just really need to get a lot of people to put their money into the false coin. And if they do that, then that would increase the value of that coin. And so there seems to be, with that sort of speculation, it seems to add a lot of different variables and a lot of different outcomes of what could happen. And that's why we each need to make these decisions on our own. If you take these extra coins, you have the potential to take them, to sell them, to offload them, make a bunch of money in the process, and then use that money either as profits for yourself or potentially to purchase more actual Bitcoin. But at the same time, is it a good idea to hedge our bets? Is it a good idea to just hold what we have and then to see what happens with both of these coins over the next 3 to 5 years? It remains to be seen, but I'm definitely leaning for myself more in the camp of the whole buy and hold and really see what happens. Not really interested for myself timing the market. I'd rather just be in the market and enjoy the ride and have a lot of fun on the whole road to wherever this rocket ship roller coaster is going. So what do we have over here? So turning to the second article of the day, just to skim through this real quick, we have this from Coindesk.com, and it's a Bitcoin Cash timeline. And so this link will be in the notes below for us to review. Just keep in mind that Coindesk is owned by the digital marketing group, is it? Wait, am I getting this wrong? Coindesk. Platform dialogue, opinions in this article. Okay, well, I don't want to get into that, but just keep in mind to take everything that we're reading with a grain of salt, and just know that there's definitely vested interests and competing interests, even with the different news sources. But just as a high-level overview, looking at this, on August 1st, which is happening practically now, we have the BIP 148, which is activating on top of BIP 91. And so as great of an event as this is, it's really a non-event because because SegWit has already activated with BIP 91. So we have BIP 148 activating, launching, and we have no hard fork happening from that event because it's in line with BIP 91. But what's happening is that we have Bitcoin Cash launching at August 1st, 12:20 UTC, And this is just happening anyways. Even though we have SegWit launching, even activating through BIP91, Bitcoin Cash is still on its way up. And so there's some interesting detail in here talking about how much mining power gets moved over from the miners from Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash. And so if a little bit of mining power moves away from Bitcoin into Bitcoin Cash, then Bitcoin Cash will take a long time for them to mine blocks. It makes sense. And then if a lot of miners move over to Bitcoin Cash, then it will take longer for Bitcoin to mine blocks, because there's still the level of difficulty that these networks are mining at in order to keep to keep the algorithm in 10 minutes to be mining these Bitcoin blocks in 10 minutes. So the amount of mining power that's gets cut from the network is going to have an effect on how long it's taking for these transactions to get caught up, to get hashed, to get mined out in a block. So expect delays. You can use that as sort of a leading indicator to sort of get a sense of things, but just something to recognize. And so that could take longer than for blocks to get hit with hitting the activation, because then we move from what's happening today, being August 1st, then moving into August 3rd through 7th, where again we're moving over, we cross over the difficulty adjustments again, and then August 8th through 14th, which is when SegWit should finally be actually locked in on Bitcoin. And again, we're not exactly sure when it's going to be between the 8th and the 14th, because this is partly depending on how much mining power is mining the actual Bitcoin blockchain, so that we could just mine more blocks in the right period of time, and so we can hit the block that will then activate SegWit. Fun stuff. So we have this website, coin.dance.com, and it's showing us that we're currently 8 hours and 16 minutes away from this Bitcoin hard fork. Super, super exciting. We have an 8-hour day away. And then we're also monitoring this information again at btcforkmonitor.info, and these links will be in the description below. So a lot of information in this video. I think what it comes down to is that we want to make a conscious commitment of why we're doing this, why we're here, why we're involved with cryptocurrency and Bitcoin specifically. Are we in this just for short-term gains and just making small percentages, or are we here for the long term? Are we here because we know that Bitcoin is going to change the world, and we really believe that this is the ground floor opportunity of Bitcoin and the blockchain technology? And then if you're going to buy and hold the Bitcoin, then we need to make a decision. What are we going to do with this Bitcoin Cash? Holding on to it does give the Bitcoin Cash some strength, because if all of us commit to holding on our Bitcoin Cash, then that sort of increases the price in the market, because then there's less liquidity because we're holding on to that Bitcoin Cash. But at the same time, there are the powers that be, there are the miners, there is the uncertainty and the unknown of what's going to happen. And I just don't know if, for me, making a few dollars here and a few dollars there is really worth the risk long term of not holding on to the hard forked version of this new altcoin. So I'm really interested in what you think. I'm really interested in what you're gonna potentially do for your situation. Are you gonna be selling your Bitcoin Cash? Are you gonna be selling your Bitcoin? Or are you gonna be keeping both of these coins long term? And how are you holding these coins? Have you held them inside an exchange? It's gonna give you a 1-to-1 ratio like Bittrex, or are you using a ledger, a Jax? What are your thoughts? What are your plans? Are you gonna get rid of this Bitcoin Cash or not? Let's continue this conversation in the thoughts below, in the comments below. Tap that like button. Let me know what you think. Really apologize for the technical difficulties and the video lag in this video. I really hope the audio has come through really well. The channel has been really exciting. The channel has been growing at an incredible pace. It's really, really exciting. I just wish that the technology that I have has been keeping up the pace of what it really takes to keep this channel alive and keep this channel going. But with that being said, I'm in the process of investing into the quality of the show and the quality of the channel, just increasing what we're able to do and what we're able to provide in terms of the information that you're receiving from these videos and this content. So with that being said, thanks for hanging out. We'll talk more, and I am glad that together we're minting coins.